Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. This is normally when I say thank you so much for joining us for your Friday night into Saturday morning, but we're on an hour earlier again. That's 2 weeks in a row with no Rampage. Feels kind of weird. Don't necessarily hate it from like a timing perspective. I don't mind starting these shows an hour earlier, but we're thankful to have you. We are coming down the home stretch of the roads to WrestleMania, and we're going to talk all about tonight's Smackdown. If you want to get a statement or question read on air, send us a super chat or send us a humper chat, humperchats.com. That's how you can guarantee that we'll acknowledge your comment or question. You can also go to twitch.tv/FightfulGaming and send us your biddies. Much appreciated. Also, a reminder to subscribe to Fightful Select. You'll get all sorts of juicy details on CM Punk's status with just about everything and everyone. A very, very loaded report went up there from Sean earlier today about as much clarity around things as he could possibly give. Now CM Punk's out there posting Instagram stories about him and HBK making love. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if CM Punk knows what's going on at this point, but great extensive update on Fightful Select. And we also had Sean doing a whole, so what do you guys want to talk about stream about it. Lots of good stuff happening there. And even more so, going into WrestleMania weekend, you're going to get even more coverage than you would on the main channel. You're going to have Alex Pawlowski and I behind the paywall for WrestleMania nights 1 and 2, doing alternative post shows. We will be on the main channel for Stand and Deliver, as NXT is our delightful, weird, adorable little variety hour cult thing that we have going on. But really loaded weekend coming up. We're going to have Super Card of Honor on top of everything else. We've got Impact, I think a post show that's going on right now. So plenty of content coming your way. But right now we're talking SmackDown, and I've got dual Alexes, including Cardoza, the birthday boy. Happy birthday, Alex. Yesterday, technically, but we're celebrating tonight. Alex, how are you? Are you older and wiser?
I am doing birthtastic. Having a great time. I'm feeling wiser and older. I love Dominic. I love Ronda Rousey. I am here for it.
We have our suspicions, but appreciate that nonetheless. And I'm here with, as we call him, professional curmudgeon, Alex Pawlowski. Alex, my second Alex. The 3-person booth returns for one night only. CO saying thank you so much. How are you doing today, Alex?
Yeah, the curse of the 3-man booth is in effect for this particular evening. I'm all right. I barely watch SmackDown. Why would I? Because I knew I was going to come on here
about it. But
I know, but like mostly, I'm just here to wish happy birthday to the other to Imposter.
I love
you know
this
what
guy.
I mean? Like that's the way it works because we're best friends.
So
it's crazy. So yeah,
Look,
no.
In this world, if you're best friends, that means you become tag champions and then you become mortal enemies. So I don't wish best friendship on any of you. Some people in the chat saying birthday puns. Hey, if you want to send in money to send in birthday puns, we'll take it. That's a very silly thing we do on Tuesdays that I have no problem bringing to Friday nights if you're going to pay us money for it. But
no,
lots going on. Tonight's episode of SmackDown, I felt like was better than some of the ones that we've been seeing, but the pacing felt a little bit weird.
Yeah,
I did appreciate that we started with Cody Rhodes and Ludwig Kaiser. I was glad they gave that time. If you wanted to know what the card was tonight, you could check out FightfulSelect.com. But it was very refreshing to see just a good wrestling match that they gave a lot of time to. We have Cody going over to the surprise of absolutely no one, but a good match nonetheless. Predictable is a little bit easier to handle when it's good stuff, but he has the Cody cutter into the crossroads here. He's all fired up at the end. He's opening the show. A really good match. It kind of feels like heading into WrestleMania, these aren't going to get into like next gear in a way, but this was a really, really solid match. These two know what they're doing. Here's what we'll do. I'm just gonna say, Alex, what did you think? And see who jumps in.
Join me, won't you, in actively rooting against Cody Rhodes until he turns heel? Because this whole thing of him just, I mean, I don't know. You know what it was for me? The specific time where I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm rooting against him actively until he turns heel was the moment where like he was being shot like over the shoulder looking at Heyman and Solo, and all I could see in the camera was the neck tattoo. And I was just like, nah, it's the whole thing. He's very good. Cody Rhodes is great. I don't want to say he insists upon himself, though I believe that is also true. He is being insisted upon so hard by this company. And, you know, like I'm pretty much anti anything WWE wants to do because they always want to do the wrong thing. So if they want this so bad, it must be wrong. But the match wasn't wrong because Marcel Bartel, I can't say that silly name. Marcel Bartel is such a fantastic wrestler that, yeah, he and Cody had a great match, and Marcel selling the Cody cutter was what made the Crossroads work. It's a fine match, and I secretly hope that Solo Sakoa accidentally murders him on Monday because I
can't wish death upon people 6 minutes into the show.
Like not actual death. Just, you know, beats him up really, really good to, you know, because here's what they might want to do. They might want to do, oh, Cody Rhodes, how will he ever make it to WrestleMania? Look at the beating that Solo Sikoa gave him. I want that scenario instead of like end Solo Sikoa's win streak 6 days before WrestleMania just to prove what a man he is. I'd rather him like have to like do the, oh, all of me hurts so much, Roman. Why? Please don't hurt me too bad. I want to do that one instead. Just like because I think Cody's really good at playing in pain.
Yes,
I would like to see that version of the match rather than Cody is a hero. But because that's just me.
I think as much as WWE loves clean finishes, I think it's very possible we see some sort of double count out or DQ or something like that with Solo and Cody. I've liked better the direction they've gone in since commentary mentioned it tonight, but Cody saying, I don't want to hear my dad's name anymore was a really refreshing thing last week for me. So there's been things I've liked. Cardozo, what did you think of today's match? And then we'll get into the promo after.
Yeah, I mean, it felt very safe. The very soft, I want to say, and I put this up on the Twitter machine. You can tell a lot of there wasn't a lot of tough physicality. Obviously, for some reason, you just don't. The reasons that you don't probably want him to get injured before such an insane match. So to me, the technicality of the match was great. But other than that, it just felt very safe and soft. Like the chop block he gave him, like he swung all the way back and then went and knocked him down. I was like, what was that? Good. The kickouts felt very safe. It just felt like a beautiful song and dance in the ring. Other than that, I mean, I'm gonna see where this goes. And like Alex said, do they play the card of the victim? Does he go into WrestleMania as I just got beaten down by Solo and crew, and now I have to dig myself out of this? Or does he go in as the all-American tattoo hero? And, you know, and God only knows what's going to happen at the Mania, because I'm a little lost on that one.
Yeah, the thing of it is that there's a very good chance that they, I mean, I think it's on the pie chart, the largest piece of the pie is interference, schmaz, count out, something between Solo and Cody. And the tiniest little thing is like Cody is made to look weak coming out of this. Not like weak and like, oh, he's weak, but like, how will he overcome the odds? I actually think a bigger chance than what I want is Cody just straight up beaten Solo Sakoa, who can't be beaten by any man except for Cody Rhodes. And what chance does Roman Reigns have against this juggernaut? There are so that is a bigger chance than what I want. But I do think that what I want would be better for the actual overall story, which is that Cody Rhodes refuses. In reality, we saw versus Seth Rollins, but also here it could be in kayfabe, refuses to give up. Like you could do some injury angle with Cody going into WrestleMania, and he would never, in kayfabe and in reality, he would never bow out of the match versus Roman Reigns. It's too important. But Solo could, quote unquote, injure him, and then you could do the whole thing of Cody coming down to the ring, you know, like doing the thing like kayfabe taking the jacket off because he's got a ruined shoulder or he's got a bad knee now. He's wearing a brace, all this stuff, because they love to put extra stuff. They love to put hats on hats on hats on hats. They love doing that. So if you're gonna do this thing that I don't want, which is Cody Rhodes taking down the unbeatable champion because barf. If you're gonna do that, like, why not go as far as you possibly can with it into some realm of almost absurdity? Like,
I got a quick question then to that. Sorry, Kate, I know you want to move on to the next thing, but is he a more successful version of what they were trying to do with Roman when a couple years back when they were really trying to push him hard on everyone by winning the Rumble, having The Rock raise his hand, and he was the next, you know, the biggest babyface deal in the company? Do you think he's a more successful, like they're using the same game plan for him, but it's working?
I'm going to say yes, because that's the only babyface that they know how to build. Like it's not just that they did it with Roman. So it's funny you said more successful version of what they were trying to do with Roman, because I view this as a not yet as successful version of what John Cena was. Like I think they get trapped into this archetype. Now, the thing that I think is in Cody's favor here is it's not my favorite version of Cody, but I think a lot of people feel like it's Cody's wheelhouse. Like this type of face, I think a lot of people feel like is Cody's sweet spot. So those two things lining up, I think, is probably a more successful thing. That's not my favorite version of Cody. I kind of like I wasn't super in on like in AEW when they were calling him like Homelander Cody, but I was very in on him.
That's just what he is, man. That's just who he is.
That's kind of what he is, but you could say the same thing almost like about John Cena minus the ill intention, but the reactions he was getting felt very much in that vein. I loved like when Malachi Black first showed up and Cody was like this pure baby face, but he was operating in this world that he was kind of oblivious to how dangerous it was. Like that was my favorite version. But I think most people think that like the Cody Rhodes sweet spot is this guy. I think a company like WWE, that's who they want as their champion. And I get it. It's someone you can make a lot of money off of. It's someone, if you're trying to sell your company, that you would love to have your title or titles in this case. But to answer your question, Alex, I feel like this is the only successful. I think it's the only babyface they're willing to build, because I think to them it's the most tried and true thing that makes them the most money and gets them the most ratings. And
you can scream "Whoa!" every single time.
Well,
you have to do that. That's
adrenaline's there.
Adrenaline in my soul.
It's right in your soul.
Yes.
The Pro Wrestling Podcast saying y'all just got punked.
Wow.
Look.
Listen.
I know CM Punk's a Bret Hart stan. If he was having this illicit affair with HBK all this time, that
some
is
TMZ stuff.
Tough news. We got some love coming in for Alex. Alexa's birthday cake Oza.
Yeah.
Not Cardoza, but cake Doza. I love that.
Well, how about birthday card? Birthday card Oza.
Oh, birthday card Oza.
That's
very
a good. One. Yeah.
Very good. Sour Alex, it's tax season, baby. I just pre-ordered Jedi Survivor Deluxe Edition.
Let me tell you how quickly I would be sleeping on the couch if I used part of me and my wife's tax return to pre-order $100 video game. That's not going to fly in this household.
Jake Salazar saying, I can't say that silly name, Alex. You sound a lot like Colonel Favors right now.
That was intentional. It's a quote from that game, but yeah.
Fair enough. Jake Salazar also saying they got that Roman Reigns 1,000 days as champion graphic loaded in the chamber. Cody 8 winning. I actually think Cody's going over. I think they're. I don't think they can extend the feud in a way that they see fit.
I think that because apparently this is Sean's report, nobody on the Mania card has been told if they're winning their match or not, kind of a thing. And if there was some kind of last minute plans change thing for this match, one of the main reasons for it would be the 1,000-day celebration for Roman Reigns would be like a thing that they would plan weeks out in advance. They do a big thing for it. They bring in Rikishi and all these people. They do a major deal for it. I don't know that they would do it because of that, but if they did indeed have Roman go over for whatever bad idea reason they would do it, they would capitalize on that by making the 1,000-day countdown and all this kind of stuff to do it a major thing there. And of course, during that 1,000-day celebration, there's a run-in by Cody Rhodes, who is going to get his rematch, kind of a thing.
That's fair. Lord Kev saying, good evening, Saltine, Alex, Miss Kate, and may I say spicy, Alex. Have happy Friday, SGS and friends. Thanks for another great stream. Have a great night. You don't know if this stream is great yet, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. This might be terrible.
I resent the implication that I am saltine Alex and the others. Listen. Well, now I know that don't let the last name fool you, and the orange beard and the pallid skin. I am 1/4 Puerto Rican. My mother's mother was full-blood Puerto Rican. We're probably related.
We are cousins.
So you're salty like a saltine.
I mean, listen, you picked the whitest cracker in the cracker aisle. Listen, I know what you did there.
I don't think anyone's gonna accuse you of being bland in your takes. We'll put it that way.
What if can he keep one of the belts? Can Cody win the blue belt and still Roman do his 1,000 championship?
No, Cody can win the black belt, the WWE championship, the one that he wants, because Roman has been Universal Champion,
correct?
The blue one, because he won that one from Braun and Bray at SummerSlam. Yeah.
Yes. So he sets the record for Universal Champion, and Cody runs away with the Winged Eagle.
I mean, that's what they should have done to begin with, but they're not doing it now. They're not making that stipulation with a week out.
We're not crying over spilled milk. We're moving on. One LT photo saying private birthday party. Happy birthday, Alexis. Kim Gray sending in a chat. I was actually going to shout her out just to say that I hope she's safe. Anybody that's under tornado watch, please take care of yourselves. Thanks for checking on me. Safe from the naders for now. I almost missed Smackdown because my local Fox station went out. Pray for Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Yeah, there's a couple that are under watch right now. So please be safe, people that are under watch, and thoughts and safe prayers towards you. Jay Salazar saying Alex Pawlowski, Puerto Rico's favorite.
At best, I am Puerto Rico's favorite grandson. So, no, it's not. That's about it.
He'll be accepted before you know who. You know where I'm going here.
We're gonna move along to this promo. We've got some more Cody chats. Thank you guys for sending those in. We're gonna loop back around, but I do want to get into gear here. We do get a pretty good promo after this. That I think tonight was all right. I feel like if you're not gonna have Roman there, which I think is silly for this close to Mania, this was pretty good. I think you have Heyman coming out kind of dressing down Samantha Irvin, who is from the hometown, of course, saying that she gave a crappy introduction. Heyman makes one of his own, But I like what he did here where he says, like, sure, Cody, you can have Roman at Mania if you can survive Solo Sakoa, basically.
Mhm.
And I like that. That makes me think, Alex, I don't think they're going to go your route with the win-loss piece of it, but I do think Cody is going to get his ass kicked on Monday in a really, really fun way. But I like Cody's retort here saying, oh, you're moving the goalpost again? I wrestled with half my freaking body falling off for a different match. You think I'm going to miss my match at Mania? And him saying that Solo isn't ready for him, I think was good. I think it makes him feel like an authority. Any thoughts on the promo birthday, Alex?
No, I think it was all right. He's definitely filling this role very well. I mean, he's our next champion, and he's really playing the card right now as is. I'm sorry, but that's just plain and simple. And then I got a little confused too, because you said, like, he has to make it through Solo in order to get. Didn't we go through this before with someone else? Like, they had to go through a gauntlet of people before they finally got a match against Roman not too long ago. But yeah, I thought I was confused on that. But I'm right? Something like this happened before. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. I already got my American Nightmare Championship shirt, so we're ready to roll here.
I did think it was very funny that Cody specifically on Monday said, nobody else mentioned my dad, please.
Yeah.
And Michael Cole, because like, is this something that he could possibly do that his father has never done? First
thing he does.
Like, he just keeps bringing it up over and over again. Michael Cole, shh, he said no. He said no more.
Agreed. That was the first thing I noticed too. And I was like, come on, I want him to stop talking about his dad too. You guys ought to. Chai Down Spurs saying Roman was there every week for the Sami feud. Just saying. Yep. Yeah, he was. I think he lightened up his contract a little bit when he resigned. So, and I don't think it's been bad. I just feel like it would be stronger this close to Mania. But Paul Heyman's Paul Heyman. He's doing a great job with what he's been given here. We then get the announcement that John Cena is going to be leaving WrestleMania as early as possible. He and Austin Theory are going to kick off Saturday. I guess he wants to take a nice sleep. He's going to have a nice little siesta after, and he's probably going to film something on Sunday. But I think he said if Brock Lesnar gets to leave early, I get to leave early.
This reeks of John Cena has to be across the world on Sunday morning to film something, because this means doing it this way also ensures John Cena's not winning, which was a small chance, but still I thought would have been an interesting wrinkle to this story, is to have him win and then be a transitional champ to somebody else who then feuds with Austin Theory. I thought you could have done that. You're not doing that anymore, for sure. But doing this first, on the first day, that means Austin Theory's winning, and everyone hates Austin Theory. So to kick off your two-night Mania with everybody booing the result of the first match is a choice. Like, there are other things you could do that will get a good pop from the crowd to start out with. This result will not be that.
We got to put someone new over, though, don't you think? Like, I think maybe this is a good passing of the torch, and having him come out first, right?
Yeah,
isn't that Jericho complain about that? If you're not going to be first, you want to be. If you're not going to be
you
last,
ain't first, you're last.
Yales.
Right.
You're going to get the Cena pop, but I get what you're
pop
saying.
To start, the result of the match will have everybody sad.
What's pretty wild though is I think that's the only title that's not going to change hands unless one of the women's doesn't. But it's very possible that's the only title that doesn't change hands. So that means the rest of Mania after your opening match is going to be a wild little ride.
Interesting. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So after that extremely exciting announcement, we get what I'm hoping is a Charlotte Flair heel turn, because if it's not intentionally that, it's unintentionally
it's not intentionally that.
I don't know, because last week kind of felt this way too. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like they realize that Rhea's going to get cheered and Charlotte's inevitably going to get booed. I can't imagine the feeling of mentioning my dad and having that be something I love my dad and getting booed, but we got this from Charlotte saying she's a 14-time world champion and her championships weren't based on fear, insecurities, or nepotism. I will say I liked that she mentioned the nepotism thing because I think there are a lot of people, Dominic, who do float by on nepotism. She ain't one of them. If you don't like her booking, that's fine. If you don't like her character, that's fine. She knows how to wrestle, and she's a world-class wrestler regardless of her last name. So I do like that she called that out because she did get a lot of that BS, and she is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. So I liked that. I don't know if they're double turning because it felt that way last week too. I don't know if this is a symptom of Charlotte not really. She's just been a heel for so damn long that I don't know. There's certain things that she does in her mannerisms and her delivery and the way she says things that still feel heelish. If that's intentional, that's awesome. If that's a symptom of her just that's who she had been and then she went away for a little bit and she came back and she didn't fully settle in, you know, that's an entirely different thing. I don't think it's necessarily bad or good. It's going to be a great in-ring match, but it just hasn't felt like the two of them have been building off of their history or their story at all. Like, we got a week left, and it just doesn't feel like we've seen Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, who have faced each other a bunch. I believe Charlotte ended both of Rhea's title reigns. Why aren't we talking about any of that? Is kind of frustrating. And why aren't they face to face? Like, why do people just hang around outside of other people's wrestling matches? It's weird.
All the time.
It's very weird. But this
but
was
you don't see Charlotte perhaps just sticking to the babyface deal and having Rhea Ripley just be a heel champion, like, you know, coming out of Mania if they decide to go that way, or do you really like? Are we always going to expect Charlotte to do the turn like she's the new Big Show? Like,
unless they're gonna start piping in crowd reactions for her too, she's gonna be a heel because people were booing her today, and I think. Even though Rhea's been in a quote-unquote heel stable, she's so easy to cheer for. And even as a heel, she's been like beating up dudes, and the Riptide is a super badass move. I think people naturally want to boo Charlotte, A, because they've been trained to, and B, some people are sick of her being a 14-time champion. And I think people still want to cheer for Rhea, but they boo because they're playing along with what she's been told. So I feel like the inclinations are there. If Rhea is turning face, I'm hoping that means the end of her relationship with Judgment Day and that Judgment Day is breaking up. That's my hope, because Judgment Day without Rhea is a painful thing to think about in my estimation. Pawlowski, what do you think of this promo that we got?
Charlotte been like, wow, 8 days, everyone. Anyway, how are we all doing, Las Vegas? I just want to cut a promo about how much I love my dad and how I've overcome so much to be where I am. And why are you all booing me? Like, it was just her. She's so damn fake as a babyface. We were talking about this today. She's Kim Cattrall in Big Trouble in Little China levels of artificial. When she's a babyface, it doesn't work. So, the thing of it is when she goes, like, are you all whatting me right now? Don't what me. This is very important to me. What just made them do it worse? Like, I don't know, man. Is Las Vegas a heel territory? Maybe it is. But like, meaning like, do they go into business for themselves? Probably. I don't know. They lost a lot of money at the slots. They're lashing out at somebody. This was a very odd segment because I know. So, here's the thing. Rhea wasn't involved. Rhea wasn't here. Dominic was here by himself, which never happens. Dominic never goes anywhere by himself. So I guess he had to be by himself for the big segment later with his dad. Otherwise, Rhea would have kicked his father's ass. So I guess that he's not allowed to be out there with Rhea. So Rhea's not in town. So you just have Charlotte come out and go, I'm going to win. Listen, that's not a way to sell a Mania match, as you say, Charlotte, 8 days out.
I'm sold.
Like I'm going to win is not I respect everybody, but Rhea doesn't respect me. You know?
That's so true, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, and we've said this before on the Friday night show. There's just a real disconnect with certain things happening right now. It's again with SmackDown. It kind of goes in these circles where everyone gets disconnected or things just kind of fall off the rails for certain. Like right now, the only certain thing is the Bloodline storyline. Everything else is just like kind of just like, okay, I'm gonna slot this in. I the Judgment Day might not be coming out of, except for Rhea, might not be coming out of in a positive turn here out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
No, I think it largely depends on what does happen with Rhea. I would say the IC title picture is actually the thing I'm most excited about. We can talk about that in a little bit, but you're right in that it all feels a little haphazard. I said this kind of week over week at this point, but nobody's like feuding with each other, which to me is a problem. Rhea and Charlotte aren't talking to each other. Bianca and Asuka were teaming together this week. I get what they're going for with that storyline, but together is a week before Mania against your opponent is not, you're not feuding, right? IC title pictures are great. Main title pictures for Roman and the tag picture have cleared up. Awesome. But that took a really long time to get there. There's just been a lot of there's just not my favorite stuff is you got a mic, I got a mic, we're telling the story, nasty down and dirty promos, and we haven't had a lot of that. It's been built in these through Paul Heyman, or it's been built through Dominic Mysterio and Charlotte one week. Like there hasn't been the heat that I would like to see. That being said, in the IC title picture, that's been fantastic in my opinion, right? Because of exactly that. There's all these organic connections that they're capitalizing on. So that's just me. It doesn't feel like Mania when nobody has any venom towards each other.
I think we said this. We've been saying this for weeks on end. It just doesn't feel like there's a lead up. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania is a week away.
I hate really that doesn't.
Because I just, we grew up with the long-term storylines that led into a Mania that started even as far back as SummerSlam, and we kind of knew what was happening along the way. And then, Royal Rumble kind of broke it open for everyone that you knew, these two are definitely going down at WrestleMania. I think maybe the Dom and Rey Mysterio thing we knew from a while. Like, this is definitely going to end up there.
We have known that for a while.
Oh,
much to my chagrin. Wag saying, I love Sour Alex, 100% on Cody. Happy birthday, non-Sour Alex. I assume Kate is here, but I can't find her yet. Waldo shirt. Wow. When I realized I had these glasses on today, I was like, I'm going to wear my Waldo sweater on the show.
Where's Kate?
Vinny Van Gogh, a parody of Vince Van Gogh, a famous painter who cut off his ear in real life. That was under the Charlotte promo thing. I don't get it, but I'll take your money. I've got no problem with that, but I don't know what that was about. So
I'll take your money, but I don't study art, bruh.
Oh, we got a chat that said every time Charlotte gets on the mic, I want to cut off my ear, and the handle was Vinny Van Gogh. Very well done. Jake Salazar also assuring Alex Pawlowski that Las Vegas is a heel city. The Raiders play there, so touche about that.
Mm-hmm.
But fellas, let me talk to you, because LA Knight is out here next. I think it's been well established that most of us here, especially the top part of the screen, are not the biggest Dominic Mysterio fans in the world. A lot of people are excited to see Dominic get his butt kicked. A lot of people are not, because I just don't feel like he's in a place in ring-wise ability, mic-wise ability that I feel bought in for the right reasons. I do want to see him get his butt kicked, but not in the way that I'm supposed to, and I have my doubts about whether he'll be able to execute that in the match, right? Tonight's segment with LA Knight and Rey Mysterio and Dominic, we got the beginning of the payoff, but I still have qualms with how this was executed on a few different levels. LA Knight wins ultimately with a schoolboy because of a distraction from Dominic Mysterio. Oh boy. Here's the thing. Rey Mysterio has been doing this for a little bit now. And I know it's wrestling. Everybody has their different thresholds with things like this. But if you've been wrestling to the point where you're going into the Hall of Fame, I feel like you should not be easily distracted by someone's music hitting and their presence there, particularly when that person has been harassing you for weeks, if not months. The fact that Rey Mysterio was distracted by Dominic at all made him look like a chump, in my opinion. And the fact that, like, he lost on a roll-up, which is the thing that everybody loses on, and he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, feels so corny to me. I do like LA Knight going over here because I think he needs a win if he's going to get on to WrestleMania. I did not say if he's in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Is he? Oh, that him and Lashley should be on the WrestleMania card. That
Just
is
put them on the card in a match against each other.
together. Put them on the pre-show.
LA Knight interrupts the whole.
The Battle Royal should be on WrestleMania if you're gonna do it.
I don't know what's happening.
WrestleMania
LA Knight has been in the 2 worst storylines already in history of WWE. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That poor guy hadn't gotten a good break in the main roster.
But he's still super over. Like, he had a huge pop tonight. And
well, yeah, I mean, catchphrases and pops are cool, but, you know, what matters, I mean, to most people, I guess, would be storylines and stories within the novela
What
that
I'm
we're
saying,
watching.
what I think that Kate and I are saying is that despite him being put
correct, right, yeah,
he's dreck to do,
correct,
he's still over with the crowd. Imagine what would happen if they just didn't get in his way.
Agreed. That's why I'm going to as well. Yes, he's been. I'm just making a check mark there that he has unfortunately been in these crappy ass, like, you know.
I don't know why he's not sniffing around a meaningful feud that would put him in the mid card. It is tricky when I see that we have a 2-night WrestleMania. The builds haven't been great. Mustafa Ali is not on there. Santos Escobar is not on there. LA Knight is not on there. Bobby Lashley's not on there. We'll talk about that later. But after the match, there is one thing I appreciated about this. Dominic running down his mom, calling her a deadbeat mom because she allowed Rey to neglect him, I thought was corny. I did like that it took him insulting Rey's wife, not Rey, to make Rey snap. Yeah. Like, that is a justification that I really liked, because it wasn't that he was tormenting Rey and it pushed him to the brink. I don't think Dominic Mysterio has done enough to make us believe that the frustration has been mounting. So for it to be his wife getting insulted, that at least makes sense that something else set him off, which I think is good. It's the most baby-facest thing in the world to say what you want about me, but not my family, not my wife, not with my daughter at ringside. That's all well and good. People are excited to see Dominic get his ass kicked. The only way I would be excited about this is if it's just Rey Mysterio kicking his ass for 10 minutes and no offense from Dominic. But this at least did finally happen. The Band-Aid got ripped off. Air's coming out of the balloon. Hated the way that the framework was laid out tonight. I hate that he lost with the schoolboy roll-up, getting distracted by someone who is there literally all the time. But I am glad that there was a justified reason Rey finally punched him. And I'm glad that it finally happened so that we can get this going. Cardoza, birthday boy, your thoughts first.
Do you feel that this could also be the passing of the, I would say, torch, but it's not a torch here, of the mask? Could this be the upset of the weekend where he beats his dad? His dad kind of, you know, being that he's not retiring, but going into the Hall of Fame, I guess, you know, kind of just like, hey, gives him the old rub. I mean, I was thinking about this before, like, yeah, it's cool. Like, he can get some offense in, but ultimately, like, Dom could come out on top, take the mask off of him, and be like, this is it. Thanks, Dad, for, you know, putting me over on your last match on Earth or whatever.
Well, if they're going to do that,
I know.
You might as well make it a hair versus mask match. Though,
I know.
Dominic has his dumb hair.
You
might as well do it.
It just feels weird. Like, I know he's going to beat his ass because we know that's what's going to happen in the match. But is the outcome going to be what we think it's going to be? Or is Dom finally going to get, you know, is he going to say, I want to put my son over? Like, obviously, you know, kayfabing it a little bit here, but
your thoughts.
What do you think, Mr. Pawlowski?
Well, first, you're right about being distracted. Like, Ray, like, you've been around the block long enough to realize what this is. And also one of those things of like, hey, it's great. It's awesome. I'm super happy that LA Knight got off the schneid because he's been like losing streak forever. He hasn't won. I don't think he's won a match since like February. So like, or early February.
Yeah.
So I always hate the schoolboy. I think it's the wackest, weakest little move to do. Like,
especially the distraction schoolboy.
I mean,
that's
distraction
rough.
school, like this distraction schoolboy, like the guy's there. He's distracted by his son there. You instead of doing the schoolboy, spin him around, kick him in the gut, do your little snapmare driver, and pin him. Right. And like that's enough to pin the guy because he was distracted, wasn't ready for it. And you pin him with your finisher, which is what the move you would use to beat him anyway. And then you do the rest of the segment the way you did it. You're like, but like, I never understand why they think, oh, the schoolboy, that will happen to schoolboy him. Like, you're already having Ray take a loss.
Is so bad. It's because they're obsessed with the idea that the distractor and the distractee are face to face looking.
It's such a little lazy. Oh my god, yes, thank you. It is so like it's the most laziest overused way to finish a match when there's someone distracting in the ring that you could ever think of. How hard is it for someone to say, I'm gonna beat the crap out of him because he is distracted? Isn't that the obvious thing? Like if I'm in a real fight and the person's like not looking at me, I'm obviously going to be like, oh, cool. I'll get to like finish him or whatever, you know?
Sure.
Come on, man. Like it's 100% laziness.
I'll say it was not lazy. This fantastic pun.
Oh,
the AKA show.
I like that.
Alex show.
Yeah, I like that. The post match stuff. Now I'm hey, here's a what's a great way to get muted by me on Twitter. I don't block people, but I'll mute the hell out of a bunch of people. A great way to get muted by me on Twitter is to come into my mentions talking earnestly about how great Dominic is as a heel. That's a fantastic way to get muted because I know your opinions are nothing I have to listen to ever about anything if you believe that. So the thing of is let's not confuse a great pop because he got punched in the mouth after months of build of please, Ray, just punch this guy we don't like in the face. Like, the pop is big. It's not because Dominic's doing a great job as a heel, because I'll tell you why. He's not doing a great job as a heel because he can't do anything right. Because here he is. He's in the ring. He's going to tell he's got to talk to Dominic, to Ray, his dad, as he's leaving, and he's got to talk to his mom. And he's got a script that he was supposed to memorize, and he failed. The script says, hey, Mom, how does it feel to know that you married a loser? That's the first thing he says. Then he gets out of the ring. He goes down to the barricade to talk to his mom close up. He says, hey, Mom, how does it feel? Did you know that you married a deadbeat when you married my dad? So you were about to say the first line twice.
Yeah.
Because you forgot that was. But here's the thing. If you have the ability to think on your feet, and this doesn't require you to be an experienced wrestler, it just requires you to have a brain that works properly. If you can think on your feet, you can turn. How does it feel to know that you married a deadbeat? As opposed to how does it feel? Did you know that you married? Like, I mean, I have no tolerance for that. Like, I have no tolerance for that. You can find a way to get back to what doesn't look like you've memorized a script poorly for the biggest moment of your career so far. The build to this, as much as I've hated it, is for a one-on-one match with your father at WrestleMania, who's going into the Hall of Fame the night before. This, right now, up until this point, is the biggest moment of your career, and you couldn't memorize 6 lines. You're a non-serious person and not a professional. You suck at this. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should feel bad and leave. The reason people are cheering And booing him so vociferously is not because he's doing a good job as a heel. It's because he's bad at this and they don't want to see him anymore. They're not booing him so much as they're booing you, WWE, for insisting upon putting him in this kind of position where he takes up multiple minutes a week across 2 shows. He's a major part now of 2 shows, 5 hours of programming you have on across Mondays and Fridays. I would wager there have been many times where a fifth of that, a literal 1/5 of the hours of programming you have on the main roster every week has been devoted to Dominic Mysterio. You don't devote that much time to anybody else, but you do it to Dominic Mysterio, who sucks at this. It would be one thing if he couldn't carry a promo or couldn't memorize his lines, but he was like dynamite in the ring. Like, really, look at him go. He's amazing.
But because then you can also pair someone with a manager. Like, it's when someone is underdeveloped or just not good in so many different facets, there's nothing you can offset it with, which makes it really difficult. A schoolboy, just so people know, is a roll-up. It's a form of roll-up.
It's a specific roll-up that is the laziest way to roll somebody up.
Also,
I will pop every time somebody does a different kind of roll,
like an O'Connor roll,
distraction roll up, like an O'Connor roll, like a Magistral cradle, like anything that is not the weakest move in all of wrestling.
And there's even opportunities to do that move well and in the right context. They're just way fewer than we see actually in WWE.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this when you said this earlier, Alex, was the fact that if you're in the ring and you're fumbling something, obviously he does not have the freedom to kind of just like ad-lib, but like the heat even on this whole drama between him and his dad hasn't even been that high, like to me, that hot. It's basic stuff that has happened in the ring before, dad versus son or etc. You know what I'm saying? Like friend versus friend. I would have taken it to another step if he would have said, "Hey, Mom, out of curiosity, is he even my real dad?" Oh. If you would have dropped that little nugget there, the crowd would have done and that would have been great on television.
Like anybody who's been watching it all, like knows the storyline that Dominic was involved in as a kid. Yep. Where then kayfabe, they basically admitted Eddie was actually the biological father, but Rey adopted him and raised him. Like they said that on television. So like that's canon now. That's actually the truth. So like you could have really built that up again. I guess maybe Dominic and Angie didn't want to go there now, and I totally get that if they didn't want to do it. But still, that's out there, and there's a ways to do it they could have made this feud into something at least more exciting than like, come on, Dad, hit me. Come on, Dad, hit me. For like
give me what I want. Man. Listen, boy, Batista already took that from you.
Well, I think we can all agree Dominic Mysterio comes across as a little bit of a nerd. But if you don't want to be a nerd, might I ask you, might I invite you to instead be a Nord? Get NordVPN for all of your internet protection needs. They've sincerely made a really big investment in us at Fightful. They've gone above and beyond what a lot of our sponsors do. That's the best way I could have transitioned, I think, into anything. I'm really proud of this segue. Normally, I do something a little risque. I do something a little rated R superstar. Not today. I'm calling y'all Nords instead of nerds. And Sean Ross Sapp is going to tell you all about NordVPN.
You don't want to get hit with a powerbomb symphony, do you? Not from your internet service, not from your browsing experience. Nordlow is here to help. That's nordvpn.com/Fightful. It's going to squash the competition with the fastest VPN in the world. Change your virtual location with just one click. No matter where you are, you get access to whatever content that you want. Thanks to nordvpn.com/Fightful. 30-day money-back guarantee. 4 additional months free. Block annoying pop-up ads. Block malware. Block online trackers. 3 great tiers, whether you want to pass, a VPN, a locker, or all 3. Browse safely and securely. All this with one app. You can control up to 6 devices with one subscription. How can you pass on this deal? You're going to end up saving money because of this, especially if you buy those UFC pay-per-views. Let me tell you, NordVPN.com/Fightful helps you there too. Check it out.
NordVPN. Don't be a nerd. Be a Nord. Appreciate you guys. We're gonna move along from that very medium story. And so you know what? We got some more birthday puns for our dear birthday, Alex. We got
That would be I.
birthday. That would be you. Pin the tail on the Donkey Tonk Man is a fun one. Appreciate that, as we're going to be talking about the IC title story, which actually freaking rules. Ricardo saying, "It's a birthday." Yes, it is. Absolutely adore that. Absolutely adore that. Good stuff from you guys. Thank you so much for the support. And Simmons saying, "If only Dominic could wrestle like Logan Paul."
Oh, God, stop, please.
I mean, I'll say this for Logan Paul.
Imagine if, like,
his Three Amigos is a lot better. His buckshot lariat is pretty good.
Listen, it can't be any better. Can't be any worse than Dominic's. Can't be any worse than Dominic's.
It is, like, he knows how to execute moves. I certainly have my qualms with Logan Paul, but he can execute moves. I'm not going to pretend he's not.
Oh, sure. What I'm saying is, like, just by saying that his Three Amigos is better than Dom's doesn't quite tell the whole story.
Oh yeah. No, so is like yours, but still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wags, I can't read that chat.
But I listen. Now you can't read that chat. But how about this? Dominic versus Logan Paul in a loser leaves town and also a winner leaves town match.
Yeah.
Like, how about that? Like. Both like, no matter who wins, everyone leaves town. I like that idea.
Winner and loser leave town.
Yep.
I'm in for that. Oh, here's something I was not in on. This women's showcase qualifier match with Natalya and Shotzi and Xia Li and Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, whose birthday it was today, Jake Salazar saying Alex and Lacey Evans share a birthday. Two fantastic goats one day. Alex's birthday was yesterday.
Yeah.
But for those of you who like
Lord, my friend,
continuity, Jake Hager's birthday was also today. I do think this was really poorly done for a lot of reasons, unfortunately. In-ring aside, this just wasn't great. They ultimately go home with a heart attack onto the sharpshooter on Xia Li. Shayna and Ronda come out and they cut a promo and essentially say that they're going to be in a match. So they didn't have to qualify. But an injured Ronda Rousey and Shayna don't have to qualify. Xia Li and Lacey, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a Lacey Evans gal. I don't think either of my Alexes are. But at the same time, she's been rebooted several times. Nothing has been done to actually make her feel important. Xia Li had some of the highest level production vignettes I've ever seen out of WWE, like ever.
Oh my God, yeah.
As much as we joke around about people calling the main title picture It's Cinema, that actually kind of was. There was a really, really, really well done series. Yeah. She hasn't won on TV in a year, even after they did this like sneak attack title for the women's tag titles.
Yep.
There are things that certainly I feel like wrestlers can do to help themselves, but when they're this handicapped by creative, there's just not a lot they can do. The Russian roulette of the women's tag division of it being like Natalya and a partner.
No, listen.
Raquel and a partner. It was Liv Morgan and a partner for a while, but then she and Raquel found each other. This isn't a division. This is just smushing people together. They didn't even tell the story. Wade Barrett, God bless him, really tried with Shotzi and Lacey Evans to be like, hey, it's your shot at getting on WrestleMania. You make friendly alliances pretty fast. It is just so lazy.
No. You can't have a showcase of the tag division. That's what this is. This is a women's tag division showcase match. You can't have one of the teams be a team that got thrown together for the qualifying match. And that is the case here with has Natalya and Shotzi ever teamed together, at least recently?
I don't think so.
The last time we saw Natalya in a tag team, she was tagging with Tegan Nox.
Jesus.
They had a whole story with them and Shayna and Ronda. It spanned several weeks and several matches in different combinations. It was Natalya and Tegan Nox. The only reason that you would have Natalya tag with Shotzi Blackheart tonight and win the match to get in to the showcase match at WrestleMania a week after Tegan Nox teamed with, I forget, I honestly don't recall.
Liv. Wasn't she teaming with Liv at that point?
No, she teamed with Liv the first night she was back. Then she's
Emma.
Emma, that's right. So Tegan Nox teamed with Emma last week and lost to Raquel and Liv. The only reason you would have Tegan lose that match with Emma and have Shotzi win this match with Natalya is because you want Shotzi on the WrestleMania card and you don't want Tegan Nox, which has to suck for Tegan Nox. Like,
Yeah, they brought her back.
She re-signed to, like, she came back, she's here, she's been doing stuff on TV, and they say, we have to have Natalya on the match, obviously. Mania without Natalya, Natty Mania, that's what they call it. All the kids are going wild over Natty Mania. So she's got to be on the card. And as her partner, not so fast, young Tegan, we're going to have Shotzi be your partner, even though there's no history of them teaming together ever, and you were just teaming with her on a storyline on TV. Also, I believe the last time we saw Shotzi in a tag team, she was teaming with Raquel. So, like,
Correct.
you have to put Liv and Raquel together because they're probably going to win the showcase match. If anybody other than Ronda and Shayna do, then it's going to be Liv and Raquel. Now, let's talk about Shayna and Ronda. The conspiracy theory I had going in my head was that Ronda needs to be on WrestleMania, whether that's like in her contract, if healthy, she's on WrestleMania, or you think that people are going to buy the pay-per-view because Ronda's on it or whatever. Ronda has to be on the pay-per-view. You've already decided we're not going to do Ronda and Shayna versus the tag champions because the tag champions aren't in a tag title match. They're doing a 6-woman tag, some over there. But Ronda and Shayna have to be on the card, but we can't figure out a way for them to have a straight up 2-on-2 match because we've already utilized all of the legends that we have in our employ, and we don't have anybody good enough to have just a 2-on-2 Shayna and Ronda, mostly Ronda versus whom? I know. Let's do a tag division showcase match, but. Whoops, Ronda's not cleared to wrestle until WrestleMania at the earliest. So let's make all the other women qualify in matches, but not Ronda and Shayna. Like, all of this is complete convoluted mess that reeks of all kinds of weird favoritism and strings being pulled backstage. And you shouldn't run your company that way, I feel like is not a controversial statement to make.
Well, I feel like it's very possible Ronda Rousey might, whether we like her or not, like, she's viewed as a huge name, a household name that will bring eyeballs to the product. If she is half cleared to the wrestle, then I feel like that's why they're selling. My thing is there should just be women's tag titles involved in this. It's just so weird they're on Becky Lynch and Lita for
no reason.
Essentially no
reason. No
Cardoza, your thoughts on this? I think it's good we're getting more women on the WrestleMania card, of course, but like, this ain't the way to do it, right?
No, I believe we are a big supporter of the women's wrestling movement here. Obviously on Friday nights, and I love seeing, except for Lacey, everyone on there and having it, on screen. It's just so. These puzzle pieces that they're trying to put together are like not fitting in correctly for me. I see the puzzle pieces as all these great female wrestlers, but it's just not making sense. It's just not making sense. I don't understand what they want to do and how they want to do it. And Kate, you've said this now for weeks on end. It's been like this on SmackDown for a while now. Especially since they brought people back. We've been sitting here wondering, what are they going to do with these people? What is Ronda's initial whole take on all of this? Like, She comes and goes. Obviously, she's been injured and re-injured, and like things happen. Like we can't help that, right? Our bodies break. But with everyone else, it's like, where do they fit in, and why are we just throwing things together to see what sticks the most?
Yeah, they
And
brought
I
Emma
understand.
back to flirt with Madcap Moss. Like,
Yeah,
where's
there
Emma?
we go. Yeah. It's very, very weird where they're going with this, and I don't know, man. It seems like they're concentrating. They're not even concentrating on the Bianca match itself. Like, I don't even see that being pushed to the moon like it's
You could
supposed
have
to.
also done, Alex, you mentioned that they already tied up the rest of the legends. You really could have just had Beth here, done a Divas of Doom thing. That would have been
Yeah.
super, super fun. Matthew Plus asking, was Natalya a good wrestler? Probably one of the most reliable women's wrestlers that they've had for the course of the past decades. Not a great promo, not she's also a disservice to the time that she was wrestling in her prime, and I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. She's always solid, never spectacular.
That's fair.
Like she's never going to make a major mistake. She's never going to do anything.
Never going to hurt someone.
Opponent. Never going to hurt someone. Never going to make her opponent look bad. But she's never going to do anything that's going to make you go, wow. Never. She'll never ever make you say wow. Like she's a solid 7.5 out of 10. But there's no way to get above that because there's nothing that she does that's spectacular in any way.
Is she this generation's Mae Young?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Mae Young in her late 30s to be able to say that.
Broadway Joe says best guess Ronda and a sidekick win, face Becky and sidekick at Backlash. That's where Trish returns. I don't know. This is a mess.
The big mess. It's a big mess. And what do you with a roster full of amazing women both in NXT that could possibly make a jump over, right? Like Toxic Attraction or whatnot, Indy Hartwell, whatever. Why do we always go back to the damn well? Okay. The reason why Goldberg's not at this WrestleMania is because he's a free agent now. But God darn it, I'm pretty sure they would have tried.
Let's count our blessings in some regards. But
true.
I don't know. We'll see. I think it's frustrating. I think Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler, there's actually a lot of money in. You could sell me on some really, really fun work there. I think it would be Ronda's best in-ring work, and I think it would be great for Shayna Baszler. So we'll see what happens. There is not a single women's tag title picture on American television that is booked properly in my estimation from what I've seen, but we shall move along from Natty, the boat of all boats. We get an IC title contract signing, followed by what I thought was probably a match that could have been even better than it was, but still a damn fine match. A fun segment here. This is the most interesting I think Drew McIntyre has been in a while, and it feels because it's rooted in something character-y, not gimmicky. He's not running around being a history teacher. He's not running around with his mom that's a sword. He is rooted in history of his relationship with Sheamus. Sheamus comes out here talking about how Drew took the knowledge that Sheamus wanted this IC title and is trying to steal it from him, and now is imagining the chance to beat him down at Mania. And I love what Drew says here. First of all, he says, imagine just shutting up for a second, which I think is just good advice in life. I think imagine shutting up for a minute is something I find myself saying in my daily life a lot. I think it is one of the most underrated lines in wrestling promo history. But I really like where he goes with this. He kind of says that Sheamus can't separate personal from physical. He reiterates what he said in an overheard line in their backstage squabble a couple weeks ago, which is that, like, the old version of you, we'd be fighting and we'd be getting a beer after. Like, this is ridiculous. You're being kind of like oversensitive about it. I think this is a really fun, I'm going to say heel turn because it feels like a heel turn, but one that's like a heel that has a perspective you can understand, which is something that I feel like is very rare in WWE. Usually you are such a bad guy, it's cartoonish, and I can't even really understand your motivations in a lot of ways. This is just, I can totally see Drew's side of the story here. And he also doesn't have to be like a hard and fast heel because you already have that with Gunther. So there's just like a really nice balance of good guy stuff, bad guy stuff, and a lot of in between where it just feels like a sorted friendship. I really liked this. I think contract signings mostly suck, but I thought this one was pretty good. And we don't see a lot of triple threat contract signings. Usually it's like an across the table thing. Adam Pearce played his role well enough, even though it felt like Gunther was kind of shoehorned into this, but he has the title, so he has to be in a way. But I thought this was pretty all right. Cardozo, what did you think?
Yeah, I like that. I'm very critical of Drew. I feel like he's very like one-dimensional and boring. So to kind of see, and I think this storyline is good because he's going up with his friend. Him and Sheamus are really good together. Whether they're tag teaming together or they're beating the living crap out of each other, I feel like they really play off each other really well. And then you're gonna add Gunther into this mess, and this is gonna be a lot of men meat running around that ring that on one of those nights. Sorry,
big meaty men slapping meat. We love it here.
Love
it here. Your thoughts, Pawlowski?
Birthday meat.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I still maintain the way that they should have booked this is Gunther saying, give them both to me. I want them both. I'm going to kill them both and send them away for a long time because they do not match up to the Ring General. As opposed to, I only wanted one. Don't give one, two. Now one of them can pin the other one and I'll lose my title. How dare you make me do that? That's not Gunther, man. Gunther should have been booked like that. One of the greatest things. Now, again, the two women that Asuka was talking about during this feud were not the equivalent of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. But when she was feuding with the Iconics, she comes up to William Regal and says, give me them both. And I've always remembered, like, that was when I was like, okay, this Asuka chick, I am all in. I knew Kana was amazing back in Japan, and she was doing some good stuff in NXT. But when she walks up to William Regal, who's at a loss of who's Asuka to defend against a takeover, give me them both. She growled at William Regal. I was like, this bitch is hardcore. I love this. Yeah, do that. Gunther should be the guy who says, you can't decide which one of these two will face me. I want them both. Because neither of them measures up to the Ring General. Like, that's the kind of guy you want Gunther to be. And if he ends up losing his title, then it's on him for being so self-confident. I don't know, man. I've never liked it where you have a very strong champion who is whining about having to defend in a triple threat.
I have more of a problem with it because of the fact that he also has two henchmen on top of it. It's like, how many layers of protection you need. I in general am not a fan of triple threats. I like it here because the story calls for it. But I feel like, why would you double your chances at losing a title? That seems like a bad idea. So, but that usually works better with a chicken shit heel, right? Like, no chicken shit heel. MJF is never going to be like, you should give me a triple threat. Like, no, of course not. So depends who's saying it. I agree with you on that, but I feel like of all the stories going into Mania outside of the title picture, especially the world title picture, this is the strongest and the most fun. Me Normus, send it in some support. We always appreciate Me Normus, except for when he's breaking our hearts on Tuesdays. But here's a small sack of monies for two Alexes and Lucky Blonde Onion show. Some drunk lady just thought I was Darius Rucker.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go home and cry.
I only want to be with you.
No. Meet
Dragon
Normus.
Wheel.
Meet
Darius
Normus.
Rucker, right.
You don't go home and cry. You let her cry.
Yeah.
That's right. Very well played.
Yes.
I'm such a baby because the Dolphins.
You signed her forehead,
you know what
and
I
you
mean?
continue moving on. That's what you do.
What do you think of going from two versions of each title back to just one and having an epic Survivor Series where champions fight each other in unification matches? No, because I'm so sick of splitting and unifying titles every 2 years. Just pick a side and stick with it. I feel like if there's an inherent problem that if you have a 3-hour show with no title, that's a problem. Like the fact that it's been such a SmackDown and part-time heavy title unification is really, really tricky. I actually like the idea of, hey, your company has one champion. Like in an ideal world, that would work, but your champion should have to be on both shows if that's the case. That's never going to happen. It shouldn't happen. That's probably abusive to somebody. Don't do that. However, I do feel like because of that, a 3-hour show without a world title is a rough go. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I've been of the opinion that I think you can do a one champion for 2 shows. Because the champion trades off. I think while the champion is feuding with somebody on Raw, on SmackDown, you're doing some kind of tournament or a round robin or something to crown the next challenger for whoever comes out of that feud over on Raw. And then when that guy goes over to SmackDown to feud with the new person and do that pay-per-view match, then you're doing the thing over on Raw. So everything always it never feels like, hey, I walked down to the ring and said, I want a title match, and then they get it. Always the person who has it, and everybody on that one, you start over from nothing. And you win qualifying matches to get into a 4-man fatal 4-way to actually determine the next. Everybody feels like they earned the title shot. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It doesn't feel like, hey, I'm here. I guess I get a title shot now. There's a way to do it, to have the champion showing up to like supervise who's going to become their next challenger a month from now, but they don't have to be wrestling on that show because they're wrestling on the other one, building up for the other thing. I think you can do that. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I think it's a good idea.
I agree. I don't think it'll have happen either, just because this is just the formula that they've laid out now for years, is that where you have to have multiple championships and multiple shows for quote unquote satisfy people, I guess, and kind of keep it separate, which doesn't work because nothing's separate anymore. It hasn't been separate in years, so I don't understand where they're going with that.
And I'm sure TV networks have their say in it, right?
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
my world champion wasn't on my program. That would.
I mean, here's the thing: is that I think that if you were to say, if you told me, what would you rather watch? A build with some promos and throwaway matches for a month to a pay-per-view match, or for that same month, meaningful tournament matches to crown a number 1 contender. I'll always turn in for the meaningful tournament. I will. And there's somebody else that would rather watch the other thing where the top. And so you could be able to cater to both at the same time by doing one on one show and one on the other. And then after a month, the things that happening on the other on one switch. And so that way, both networks get the same benefits over the course of a year.
I feel like they've done that. They've done that in the last almost 1,000 days with Roman, where they kind of tested this hybrid champion that moves between shows, and you've had different feuds start on different shows, right? So like the Cody on SmackDown, and whatever happened with in Raw, and blah blah blah, and him and Brock. Like you've seen it happen now for the last 2-3 years with him. Yeah. But I don't think this is a sustainable thing for them, and I think they're going to be. This might be the year that they split this up. I don't know. I
hope, man. There's no need to keep 2 titles on Cody.
No.
God. It was a thing. It was a thing for Roman because that was part of his mystique. There's no need to keep 2 titles on Cody. Either you unify them into one and bring back the big winged eagle kind of a thing like he wants to do, or you split them. You can't keep both of them on Cody.
No, correct.
Agreed. And I think it'll be. I just want them to commit to either side of the line because it feels like we do this pretty cyclically every 2 years. Hey, if you want one, the best one you can get is the AG one. I'm talking athletic greens, people. And so is Sean Ross Sapp.
We talk a lot about performance here at Fightful. And if you want that performance, you want Athletic Greens 1. athleticgreens.com/Fightful. So excited to work with Athletic Greens. You can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase if you visit athleticgreens.com/Fightful. And you might be asking, what is Athletic Greens? Well, 1 scoop of AG1 contains 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, multimineral, probiotic, green superfood blend, and more in 1 convenient daily serving. I took multivitamin tablets before this. Our strength and conditioning coach said, you should probably move on to something more digestible, recommended AG1. I loved it. I love how it made me feel, loved the energy that it gave me. And it got me a whole lot more vitamins than I was taking in general because it absorbs a lot better. Athletic Greens 1, it effectively replaces all those products, pills, with 1 healthy drink. athleticgreens.com/Fightful, and check them out on Twitter at Athletic Greens. Let them know you heard about them from us.
The Usos think they the ones?
They the
AG.
ones.
All right.
Mhm.
AG the ones. So there you go.
Mhm.
Tyrone Kidd saying, so, no Wesley Open Challenge scramble for a shot at the world champ. Nope, nobody's beating each other up backstage to get to a world
Please don't do
title.
that. Please
that
don't do that.
Is going to be handpicked by Wesley anyway on Tuesdays. And Kitiara, I hope I'm saying that right.
Kitiara.
It's how the territories work. Your local champ challenges the world champ when he shows up in town. I guess Vince Jr. killed the territories in more ways than one, you guys.
Yes, he did.
Oh boy, so we got something pretty cool out of this segment I really liked. Gunther beating Butch, the Banger Bros versus Imperium next week. Looking forward to that. But this was a whole lot of fun. Ultimately, Gunther hits the Lariat and the Last Symphony to get the win. Man, oh man, I'm going to go back to calling him Pete Dunne. The rumor is good enough for me. He's Pete Dunne and not Butch in my brain, but he made this ending look so good. I feel like I love Gunther, but sometimes that Last Symphony gives people a tough time when they're taking it. Sometimes it doesn't always look good. Sometimes I think he's probably a little scared to get all of it because it's hard. But Pete Dunne, I felt like made this whole ending sequence look like $1 million. A really, really fun match. Another one that I feel like, because we've seen the two of them as Walter and Pete Dunne have an incredible match before, this one felt like it was a little bit more in third gear. But on free TV, I'm not complaining about this. I thought this was a really strong match. These two know each other. They both know how to work well. It does feel like we're getting closer to Pete Dunne and not Butch. I know they wanted to keep it because this is what he's been in this gimmick, but I was just glad to see Pete Dunne in action. I thought this was a whole bunch of fun. Very excited about next week too. I think that'll be a blast of a match. In-ring is never the issue with these guys. Good stuff here. Pawlowski, your thoughts?
The thing of it is that I have to grade this match on a curve because I've seen Pete Dunne and Walter have amazing matches with each other.
Sure.
So this on their curve is a 3 out of 10. It's a good match, but this is not what they can do with each other because I've seen it and I know it. And so it feels like they were like there's no need for this match to be exceptional because that's not the story we're telling right now. So fine and move on. But it did make me wistful for the days of Walter versus Pete Dunne because Gunther versus Butch ain't the same. And I disagree. I think that the Banger Bros versus Imperium next week is going to be much of the same. There's no reason to have them do anything like the night before WrestleMania that's going to like be interesting at all. I guess you could have Gunther and Sheamus stay on the outside and never get tagged in except for 15 seconds, while Imperium and the what are they called? The Fight Night, whatever the
Banger Bros, bro.
Brawling Brutes. Okay, wait. So it's.
I'm sorry, Brawling Brutes, right? Banger Bros.
So
and Sheamus.
Is it a 3-way? Is it a 6-man or is it? I don't even know what it is. I didn't see the match announcement. I will say this before we even get into that. Wade Barrett bringing up how Imperium is really sore that they weren't included in the men's fatal 4-way tag division showcase match. It's like, well, yeah, they should be sore. They should be fucking pissed. They're the best tag team, not in the top. Like they are up there with the Usos as far as how good they can be in the ring. They might be better than the Usos just straight up on what they can do in the ring now. I think the Usos a few years ago got them, but I think now like Bartel and Eichner can straight up go for like a half hour at full speed, and there's no reason at all in kayfabe or otherwise why they're not in this match. Like there's no reason they're not in this match because you didn't even have qualifiers. At least give them the opportunity to lose and not be in the match. You just named 4 teams. Why would you name 4 teams and Imperium not be on it? Like I'm so sore. I am sore about the way that these tag team fatal 4-way qualifying. I hate that these matches were included and then not decided uniformly. Like it's
no, especially because the women's has 3 qualifiers, which makes even less sense, and the men's has even less.
And then the men's don't have any qualifiers at all. Just Adam Pearce picked some names out of a hat. Like that's just dumb.
I do feel like because it's WrestleMania SmackDown that they might give this 20 minutes and they might go all out. That's why I'm more excited about it. Because if it's just the tag team,
I hope that is what it is.
Louise, stop paying for super chats. But Gunther using the Emerald Explosion makes me smile.
It's pretty great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. This I thought was the best match, I feel like, on the show. The opener was really strong too, though. I will give it credit, but even kind of like a B or a B- match between these two, I think is probably a little bit stronger. Cardozo, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything Alex said, man. It's just there's just so much going on in WWE right now with confusion rather than how to keep the matches in front of us so that we could be excited for what's to come, right? By the way, Pete Dunne, yes, agreed. Incredible. I love the way he just jumped over and beat the crap out of Gunther. Good. Gunther took the table, almost killed the entire front line of fans in the front row. I love the chaos that was in that match. And Gunther just saying, I'll beat you. Hey, I'll beat you too. I'll beat you as well. Like he's such a badass and such a presence in the ring. I kind of hope he keeps the title, to be completely honest. I want him to continue kind of like beating everyone up. I don't know why. He's just so good.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I will say I feel like the story presents the opportunity for the title to switch hands to really either Sheamus or Drew. I don't feel like his reign has gone too long if he retains.
Correct.
I think there's an opportunity to pass it off logically if you wanted to. But if Gunther retains, I'm not like, oh my God, how long is his reign going to be? Like they can keep this going in a really fun and
I hope that he does kind of get his little WrestleMania moment here where he kind of retains and comes out on top. Like people are going to cheer him and love him for this. He's gonna take some physical pain in that ring from these two guys. Like you understand these two gentlemen are probably going to run him through the ringer. You know, like, cool. We've been here before. We're going to show you what we can do. And he's going to accept it and be like, you better bring it on. Like you better give me your best in the ring. And I feel like this is something that they can take into SummerSlam and maybe do something a little bit more spectacular, right? For like if they do, Sheamus decides to they give it to him, because I know Sheamus is searching for history here for himself.
Sure. I think it would be fun to give Drew an intermittent reign and then have Sheamus chase.
Okay.
I think Sheamus is ultimately going to get that Grand Slam champion completion, but I think chasing Drew might be fun to cement Drew as a full-on heel. But we move along to the Street Profits and Braun O'Shea, or as Luis,
God. This is where I leave the room.
The Street Profits. The Smooth Operator segment. This was a whole bunch of fun. I'm not going to get too deep into it here, but they're building out this 4-pack to Alex's frustration, it does feel like Braun and Shea just kind of got thrown together, where Imperium is a little bit more solid of a unit.
The most maddening thing is it was a rib on Braun for him saying he didn't like flippy guys. They put him with the flippiest guy as a rib on him, and they got over. And they were like, well, hey, they got over. Let's ride that. Now, listen, it's good that they got over and you rode it. The problem is everyone else gets over and you don't ride it.
And you don't, yes.
That's the problem. Be consistent.
Correct.
And that's why, like, of all the things that get over organically and you say, you know what, we're going to ride this bitch. This is the thing you do it with?
Well, honestly, they want Braun to be featured. And this, to me, has been the best use of Braun that they've had. So I'm not going to be mad about it. I like this better than a Braun Strowman IC title run, which looked like is what they were lining up for. I think Braun in a tag team where his weaknesses are minimized and his strengths are emphasized are good. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in there with someone like Ricochet and then the tag gets handed off, it's a completely different flavor than what was just in there before. Do I think it's the best use of Ricochet? Hell no. That is an entirely different conversation that, quite frankly, I don't have the energy for. And Sam is saying, how did this not set up Ford versus Ricochet next week? Give me that singles match. Please, 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 please.
That would be great.
For favor.
Luis has a good point, though. He's saying that if we got that and Vikingo and Commander in the same day, his mind might explode. Yes. So next Friday, we do have Supercard of Honor and SmackDown running into each other on the same time, and that's just the Friday of WrestleMania weekend. We're also going to have on your screen, I'm sure we'll have Grapsody in there somewhere, but you will have your Night 1 of WrestleMania on the main and on Select with Alex and I. You'll have our Stand and Deliver on the main, and you'll have Night 2 of WrestleMania also on Select with Alex and I and on the main as well. Got to be stacked, and then we get no rest. We go right into Raw after Mania, and the cycle begins again. So join us, because we've got like 12-hour coverage each day at least, because Stand and Deliver starts way too early. We move along. We get the announcement of the 20-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal. This not being on the pre-show and being on SmackDown feels like a huge disservice, especially when some of the talent in it includes people like Legado del Fantasma, LA Knight, Johnny Gargano is going to be in this apparently. Bobby Lashley, Karrion Kross, Butch and Ridge, the Good Brothers, Cedric and Shelton. More next week. The fact that they didn't just throw Lashley into the Brock and Omos match actually makes me really upset, because there's such an easy way to do it. That match is not going to be anything special anyway, because Omos doesn't have the in-ring ability yet. Xavier Woods is also in this 20-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal. The caliber of talent that you're just smushing into this is a bummer. Ziggler's going to be in it. Mustafa Ali is going to be in it. So I'm sure they're going to set something up there. Mustafa Ali and Ziggler needs to be a real match at some freaking point. So that's frustrating. It just feels like a disservice. But we do get to go home on what was a really, really fun segment, I thought. Kevin Owens is a really damn good pro wrestler, guys. I loved some of the stuff he did here. I have one minor complaint with it, but Kevin Owens comes out. We get the Kevin Owens show. He gives Sami his own entrance and then kind of brags about it a little bit, saying, I gave you just what you wanted, right? You wanted this big entrance. And Sami Zayn says, that's not what I needed. That's not what I wanted. But ultimately, we get to Kevin Owens holding up his t-shirt that he has every year, right? But that's just the back of the shirt. The front of the shirt says something very special. This I thought was really good because it was built out to have the tension of, is Kevin Owens really going to be nice to Sami Zayn here? I think we all knew it, but the front of the shirt could have very well said something to the effect of like, no, I don't actually trust you. I'm a heel. I've been hesitant to trust this whole time. It wouldn't say that on the shirt, but it could be indicative of something really mean to Sami Zayn. I liked that we got WrestleMania. I'm pumped. My thing with this is, though, we didn't really get an explanation from Kevin Owens about why he suddenly changed his mind, which is very frustrating to me. It didn't go into enough detail. I do really like that he said the real life thing of, this has been your year. Nobody's gotten over like you. Nobody's been as important as you. Nobody's been on the run that you have. I was just waiting for the additional dialogue there to be like, as your friend, I was so proud of you this year. I couldn't let the distrust get in the way of that. Or so there was just like a little ingredient that was missing for me. They're going to sell 9 million of those shirts, though. Good on those guys, because everybody's going to be buying a WrestleMania shirt. We just didn't get the completion of that. We do have another week, but for the Kevin Owens show and Sami Zayn being there, there's been all this hesitation. I don't feel like that got explained away fully. We did flirt with it a lot. I just wish there was like a little bit more of a clincher with that, in my opinion. But I'm excited about where this is going. I think they're going to win at Mania. Pawlowski had some mixed reactions on this. What were your thoughts?
This is the thing with the shirt was cute, but like that can't be the biggest development of a main event talking segment 8 days from WrestleMania. The new information that we got in this segment is we have a new shirt. That's it. That's literally it. We already know they're facing the Usos for the tag titles. The Usos come out and they have a little brawl, and that's it. Nothing changes. Like nothing about the story progressed at all in this segment. Nothing. Which is why I understand why they held off and didn't do the big reunion between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Eliminacion Chamber in Montreal on February 18th. Because if they had, it would have been 6 weeks of, hey, so you and I were having a match at WrestleMania for the Undisputed Tag Titles. That's right, we are. Boy, it sure is going to be great. Don't you guys think it's going to be great? Oh, the Usos attacked us. And they just do that for 6 straight weeks with nothing actually progressing, because this writing staff does not know how to progress stories. There's no explanation, like you said, from Kevin on why I did this. The best thing for me that I loved about it was Kevin Owens subtly burying Cody of like, who's been the real MVP, i.e. really deserves the biggest spot in WrestleMania this year? It's you. I.e. not Cody. But like that, like he's saying you were the MVP for the last 12 months. Regardless of who corporate has decided to get behind, the guy who moved the needle the most this year is you, Sami Zayn. And that's good, but that's not new development of the story. Like, we are not actually progressing anywhere because this writing staff doesn't know how to do that. And so, fine, like, I guess we'll just limp into WrestleMania this year the way we have every year for the past 5 years because they don't know how to do writing.
Yeah, I just feel like he was right at the end of the bridge and they didn't cross it. Like, if he was going to say, there was just like literally for me just 2 more lines of saying, I've known you for decades and you've done so much work this year. I'm so proud of you that even with my hesitations or whatever, like it was like they were dancing around this and didn't bring it all the way home. What did you think, Cardoza?
Yeah. Wait, why? How quickly did this story of Sami Zayn and KO become, I feel like, more of a C story now? It's just really fallen. Did this story really fall that fast from from the heat and the incredible, like, I mean, how good was the storytelling the previous couple weeks? Because I'd say that in the last 2 weeks, it's cooled the F down. I mean, cool. We got KO and Zayn again. Cool. You know they're gonna win the titles. Cool. Like, these are the little predictable things that we know are gonna happen, perhaps at WrestleMania, right?
Well, we did get the big hug last week, and I appreciated Kevin Owens
right?
thing.
Yes,
and I don't even hate the idea of I wouldn't have booked it, but I understand why they said like there was hesitation there, right? They've gone back and forth as friends. They've been besties and broken up several times. So I like the idea of the hesitation. It just still feels rushed by the time that we got here. Like
it is very funny though that the reason everyone told me why there was so much hesitation on Kevin Owens' part, that how can he trust Sammy's? Look at what Sami did to him this whole time of gaslighting him and not being there for him and being mean to him and choosing the bloodline over him. Of course Kevin Owens is hesitant, but we found out that's not why he was hesitant. He wanted Sami to tell him, you're my brother and you're my friend. Kevin Owens was hesitant not because he thought Sami didn't really care for him, but because he wanted him to, and he didn't. So all of the things of the reasons why he was like, no, I don't want to be with you, were not actually the reasons. He wasn't hesitant because of that. He was hesitant because he wanted a friend. And that's fine, but not everyone told me, well, you would, if you were Kevin Owens, you wouldn't immediately trust this guy who betrayed you all this time. But Kevin Owens did trust him. He just needed Sami to say that he trusted him back.
Right.
And it's just a weird thing that all of this, and a lot of it is me being able to infer a lot of that from the brilliant nonverbal performances of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because those guys have it when it comes to just communicating so much with their body language and their eyes and their just the way they move in relation to each other. They're so perfect at that. But that's not the writers writing up good stuff. That's these performers knowing how to tell a story between each other.
Wag's asking us the important questions here. Montezuma is a star. When are they going to push him? Later says Montez, autocorrect.
Montez, autocorrect, yeah.
Alex, when do you think they're going to push Montezuma?
Listen, as soon as they get to the shores.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Triple D.
I was wrong. Halls, more shores. Yeah.
We will fight our sorry. I am more of a Marine than Lacey Evans. If whoever wants to fight me about it, tell me now.
I think they'll push Montezuma right before he gets his revenge.
That is well played. Very well played. Mm-hmm. And Simmons 211 says this story doesn't feel special because they had to cut the perfect story short for Cody. Even Jay versus Sami doesn't feel personal anymore.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I think you were always going to lose some steam off of the pivot, and I think that's why they tried to enter layers of unpredictability in there. Like that part makes sense to me. I feel like it became very apparent what they were going to do, so they were like, let's throw some hesitation on Kevin Owens' part in there. Let's dirty it up a little bit, but in doing so, I think they lost the plot in the process a little bit here.
But the match is still going to be red hot at WrestleMania. You're going to have people loving it. I mean, we all will, right? We'll all enjoy this.
The match is going to be their match is going to be great because they're all great in-ring storytellers, and the point of it is like Sami and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania hoisting the tag titles together is going to be an amazing moment.
All-time moment.
Yeah.
All-time moment. And Simmons finishing the chat saying Kevin's tone in the promo had hints of jealousy, and I fear when those belts split, Kevin will go to the top of the card, and Sami, well, I don't actually think that, maybe against my better judgment, because I understand that the history that they have at this company would lead you to believe it. I do feel like because there's been so much invested in this story, they're probably going to have a pretty productive tag run. I think it'll be really refreshing to have babyface tag champions too, because we've had heels for a really long time and all the gold has been wrapped up in the story. So I'm hoping that they don't go in that direction, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to have a really productive tag run otherwise.
And I think that these two guys are going to draw so much money.
Yes.
They are, and like with, I was going to say with apologies to, but not really. I really don't apologize to him. With apologies to Cody Rhodes, they're the two biggest baby faces in the company. Like absolutely, they are the guys who will get people talking, watching, being there, because you can afford. Not that I want them to do this. You can afford to keep both belts on Cody for his little babyface run versus Gunther or whoever, because anchoring the other show will be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and their babyface hijinks versus whomever they feud with. they're going to make a lot of heel teams.
Yes.
Like there's like, not only would the matches be fantastic because it's Kevin and Sammy, but they're going to be able to take the piss out of a lot of guys who are going to then be angry. It'll be a lot of fun. Them versus the Viking Raiders, them versus Imperium, them versus Legado, them versus like name it. They've got it. They'll be able to do a lot, and they will sell so much merch.
Name it. I will. If Tommaso Ciampa is healthy, I want DIY versus Sammy and KO.
I'll tell you why there's no jealousy there. He made him a shirt, bro. He made him a shirt. Okay.
Sure.
Back in my day,
that shirt's gonna make him a lot of money.
back in my day, if I was friends with Alex and Kate back in my day, I would have given them burnt CDs. All right. So that would have meant that I loved them. And that right now, that's making a T-shirt is the same example. He loves them. Yeah. There's no jealousy there. These two are going to make a lot of money together.
They're going to make so much money together. The shirt I'm still waiting for is because they have the one that still sells now, which is the fake duct tape of KO.
Yeah.
On the black shirt, SZ in duct tape would sell because everyone would buy two. You'd buy two, and you would show up with your best buddy to a taping of Raw, one of you in a KO duct tape shirt and the other one in an SC shirt. Everybody would buy two. At least like two would get bought. Like one, you would buy one and your buddy would buy one, and you'd sit in the front row going, yeah, they're going to sell so much friggin' merch.
And then you switch halfway through the show.
Yeah, sure.
I was going to say, I would just buy both. That would be me.
Kate, you're balling.
I just am.
Yeah, that's true.
Really
Kate makes that fanatics money.
Of I do. You can catch my autograph signings.
$56 a shirt. That's before shipping and taxes.
You should see my hoodies. $400. Matthew Plus sent in money for Meet Normus. Sending in money on behalf of our others. And Simmons saying people say Cody can't lose, but let's remember Brock Reigns. I'm not sure what this says. I think saying that Reigns' reign will be at its 1000th day on May 27th, which King of the Ring would absolutely do. I don't know what that is trying to say, but I don't think
1,000 days would be up right before the Saudi show.
Oh, barf. Well,
yeah,
they don't really treat...
No, but seriously, I'm saying, not that I want them to do it, but they would be able, especially if they're going to sell to the Saudis, which is still a possibility. The Saudis might say, you're going to do this big rematch from WrestleMania at our place, and they would also be able to sell tickets and get a bunch of advertisers buying in for their big Roman Reigns 1,000-day celebration. Here's the thing. This is why I say detriment of the doubt. You always bet on the worst possible thing for them to do because they'll find a way to do it.
I'm going to say no because they don't really treat those shows like canon. They don't do anything of consequence at Saudi Arabia shows usually. So
beating the Fiend says different.
If the king asks, the king shall get.
Well, I think it'll be indicative of where a sale is leaning if they do choose to do it.
Yokozuna will be there this year.
I mean, Yokozuna will be there.
Yokozuna's going to be there for sure.
Definitely. In spirit.
Yep.
We do have one jukebox request from Ricardo that is Miss Linder singing.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Mr. President, to Alex.
Okay.
So
hold on. I gotta get.
I'm making this into a TikTok video before they ban it on America.
Here we go. Oh yeah, they're gonna ban the TikTok. I just found out about the TikTok. I'm looking at all kinds of fun, fantastic recipes, learning how to make chicken parmesan like in my air fryer. It's wonderful. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Cardoza. Birthday to you. Apparently, there's a whole verse here that I didn't realize. Thanks, Mr. Cardoza, for all the things you've done, the battles that you've won, the way you deal with U.S. Steel and our problems by the ton. We thank you so much, Mr. President or Mr. Cardoza.
That was beautiful.
And many more.
That made me so happy. That filled that my friend was adrenaline in my soul.
One more chat to take us home. What are you gonna do when Saudi Arabia runs on you? I also have enough confidence that they might run that back with Cody as champion. Like I think it's very, very possible. You guys
The all-American hero in Saudi Arabia. Hell yeah.
We will see. But guys, that is the end of our show. We've got so much coming up for you next week. Holy crap, it is loaded. But let's do our plugs and get out of here. And we'll enjoy our weekend. Cardoza, where can the good people find you?
Y'all can find me on the IG at Alexis Cardoza. And I want to thank everyone here today, Alex, Kate, everyone watching, for the birthday wishes. You made this old man feel so good inside. No bad puns there, just truthfully and and just because mentally and all that good stuff, you just need good people around you, and I've surrounded myself with all of you, which means I'm in a happy place.
Hell yeah, man. You know it's getting serious when you say no bad puns intended. Like that is...
I love you. I just didn't want anything with hard-ons and whatever to appear.
As they so often do. No blue chewy tonight, which kept us in line. Pawlowski, plug your shit.
Pawlowski is going to plug this because apparently Matthew Plus is sending in sour chats tonight, and says, "Happy birthday, Alexis. I regret to inform you that your childhood is expired. Stop watching wrestling. Get a life, bozo." That's Matthew Plus's thing.
Wow.
Also, Matthew Plus says,
"You're watching us and sending us money."
Matthew Plus says, "I want to change. It's tiring being the bad guy. I want to be a better person. I even made a poem for Kate. Roses are red, violets are blue. A face like yours belongs in a zoo." Now, I didn't say that. Matthew Plus said that, and that's not very nice at all. But I wanted to say that tomorrow for Rampage, I'll be doing the watch along like normal tomorrow night over on Select. So come hang out and watch me watch a show on its raw, a show that will probably get as many viewers on TNT as I will get during the stream.
Wow. I'll put a bet that
Not
Pawlowski
wrong.
wins
You're not
the Saturday Night Wars.
Hey, I think going on right now, maybe at the same very time, is the Impact Sacrifice post show with Cresta Star and Joel Pearl. Check that out. Whether you're up to date on the product or not, there's some really exciting stuff going on there. A couple of injuries, unfortunately, have them snake bitten, but they do a great job. We've got a lot going on. You got Grapsy tomorrow, and then headed into next week, man. It's getting wild. You'll find me with Mr. Pawlowski on Fightful Select doing the NXT post show on Mondays. Or, I'm sorry, doing the Raw Sour Grab show on Mondays on Fightful Select. Tuesdays on the main. Wednesdays at the Mark Order podcast at Mark Order Pod, talking all things all elite. Thursdays, my heart is a flutter because I get to review Ring of Honor, which is my favorite wrestling program in the whole wide world. We hand that off to the Impact crew, who's also doing a review right now in the same stream. So it's really fun. You get me and Righteous Reg for ROH. We pass it off to the incredible Cresta. Oh my gosh, what a hoot that wonderful woman is. And Joel Pearl. And then on Fridays, right here, doing normally AEW Rampage and SmackDown. We'll keep you posted about next week because there's going to be so much going on. But never a better time to get on Fightful Select, not only for the CM Punk breakdown that is going on over there. It gets us a lot of subscriptions, I'm not going to lie. But feel free to check out the accurate details about that story on Fightful Select. You're going to get all of this news coming out of WrestleMania on the Scoop side as well. You're going to get a ton of extra bonus content on there during this upcoming week and weekend. Thank you so much. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. We'll see you soon.